Windows is the world's most widely used computer operating system. It was developed by Microsoft and first released in 1985 as Windows 1. Initially, it was just an auxiliary tool for MS-DOS. Over time, it gradually evolved into a full-featured operating system. Major versions include Windows 95, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, and the current Windows 11. Windows has excellent compatibility and adaptability. It can run on almost any PC or laptops from different brands, and it can be used for various games, office software, and even programming. It also has a very intuitive graphical interface, greatly lowering the barrier to entry. However, it also has some disadvantages due to the system's high hardware requirements. Older or low-spec devices may experience lag due to high memory consumption. Also, Windows updates frequently, sometimes even getting stuck in an update loop. Most importantly, due to its widespread use, the Windows system is vulnerable to viruses and malware attacks, like the classic Panda burning incense virus. There are also issues like the blue screen of death. macOS. This is the Mac computer operating system launched by Apple in 2001. Unlike Windows, macOS is exclusive to Apple devices like MacBook and iMac. This makes macOS very stable and smooth, making it a top choice for many professionals and creatives for tasks like video editing, graphic design, and even music creation. macOS supports a wide range of professional applications, such as Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and GarageBand. Furthermore, macOS has a huge advantage. If you own an iPhone or iPad, macOS can help you sync various messages, call logs, and files. It also doesn't update as frequently or crash as often as Windows. Its battery life is also generally better than Windows. But because macOS can only run on Apple computers, users need to buy expensive Mac hardware, which makes some people feel is not cost-effective. Also, since macOS lacks DirectX technology, many popular games are unplayable. Linux, unlike Windows and macOS. Linux is not a complete operating system, but an operating system kernel. It was created by Finnish programmer Linus Torvalds and first released in 1991. Linux has low hardware requirements, boots up fast, and runs smoothly. It can be installed on many old computers. And because the Linux kernel is free and open source, anyone can modify or create their own version. This is why there are so many Linux distributions on the market today. This allows Linux to be widely used in fields like network security, programming, and servers. Google, Facebook, and even some of NASA's supercomputers run on Linux servers. However, Linux has a higher learning curve, because it primarily uses a text-based command line interface rather than the familiar graphical interface. Also, since most mainstream applications and games are designed for Windows or Mac OS, Linux suffers from poor software compatibility. Therefore, very few people use Linux. Chrome OS, it's a lightweight desktop operating system released by Google in 2010. Initially designed for cloud computing. Unlike Windows and Mac OS, Chrome OS is centered around web applications. It mainly targets users who frequently use web services, social media, or web apps. Chrome OS can automatically update in the background after the computer starts. It can also store data, files, etc. on Google servers by default. This not only greatly reduces local resource usage, but also enhances system security. But because Chrome OS is highly dependent on an internet connection, it cannot function properly once disconnected. So it currently can't directly run software like After Effects or Photoshop. It's also not suitable for high-end gaming and cannot handle multitasking. For example, you can't open Photoshop while editing a video. Android. It's also an operating system developed by Google. It is one of the most popular systems. Many brands of electronic devices use the Android system. Android users can freely change phone themes, set up app clones, or enable floating windows. Android devices are usually cheaper, come in more styles, and offer better value, providing users with more choices. But the Android system also has some drawbacks. Over time, it accumulates a large amount of system junk. This junk takes up storage space and can cause the system to slow down, leading to lag, freezing, and crashes. iOS, it is the operating system developed by Apple that powers the iPhone and iPad. Unlike Android, iOS is exclusive to Apple devices, which has created a unique Apple ecosystem. The iOS system is generally quite stable. Even older iPhone models can receive system updates. And because the iOS framework is relatively stable and mature, many apps are often released on iOS first. The Apple ecosystem also allows for seamless connection between iPhone, iPad, MacBook, and Apple Watch, and all other Apple devices. But iOS is also very restrictive. For example, users can only install apps from the App Store and cannot freely download third-party software like on Android. Users also cannot easily transfer files outside of the Apple ecosystem. Additionally, iOS devices are often expensive, and Apple often reuses the same design across multiple iPhone generations. Unix, it's a relatively old operating system, and the foundation for many modern operating systems. It was first developed by AT&T in 1969 as a multi-user, multitasking operating system for engineering and scientific computing. Unlike other operating systems, Unix is rarely used by average consumers. It's mainly used for enterprise applications, core banking transaction systems, and scientific research. For instance, meteorological bureaus use the Unix system to manage and process large amounts of weather data. This data is crucial for weather forecasting. BSD, it is a family of Unix-like operating systems that originated at the University of California, Berkeley. Unlike other systems, BSD is typically used by tech experts for servers, networking devices, and embedded systems, rather than laptops or desktops. For example, the PlayStation 4 and 5. Netflix's internal delivery network, and firewalls like OP-NSense. Furthermore, BSD has multiple versions, such as FreeBSD, OpenBSD, and NetBSD.